Well, we are learning more about the arrest of the former owner of a dog that was found with its mouth duct taped shut and shot in rural Cowlitz County. According to court documents, a neighbor of Jessica Schmidt and a former roommate contacted the sheriff's office after photos of the white English retriever were posted by the Humane Society. The documents say that both had witnessed Schmidt physically abusing the dog named Baylor. Detectives say when they contacted Schmidt, she denied involvement and claimed to not have a dog named Baylor. Court documents say the deputy found two high-powered air guns in the home, and one had a missing round. After getting a search warrant for her home, deputies found videos of a dog her son called Baylor, and in one of them, the dog in the kennel had its mouth or its snout duct taped shut. Using her phone records, deputies say that she dumped the dog in a rural area 2 days before it was found by a PUD employee. Detectives also said that she researched, quote, punishment for animal cruelty on Google. Schmidt was arrested on charges of animal cruelty, making false or misleading statements, and driving with a suspended license. Meanwhile, the dog formerly known as Baylor has now been adopted by the PUD employee who found him and has been renamed Trooper and is doing well. Schmidt will be back in court next week.